With these words of admission, there'll be no submission. I've done the addition, and it's not adding up. You can keep all your conditions. We're not asking permission. It's our act of sedition, and we're not giving up or giving in.
All right, man. I love that theme. Welcome to Snarky and Such. I am Snarky, and
I am Such.
I was wondering if you're going to take the. I was going to lob the ball.
You see, I changed my name at the bottom of the screen.
Oh yeah. And I still haven't to mine.
You could do that. You can make yours the DT, aka Snarky.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is actually the second installment or second episode. I was mentioning and welcome everybody, and just off the top of the show, you probably saw me on another podcast before, and now that you can see my full name, you can look up the music. You can see obviously there's a piano here. There's also a book sitting here. We'll talk about that later. Every show we'll try to talk about the book because that's the latest book that I've written, and it's got everything in it, and we'll talk about that. And I'll just say it right now. It's called Manifestation, How Thoughts Become Things. And surely they do. And Ron and I, if you don't know, were a conservative married couple. They've been married for 32 years. And we had enough is enough, which is ironic because, anyway, it's also part of a song like that in the past. Enough is enough bullshit, as Roseanne Barr said. Bullshit! She goes into all the Anunnaki, the Nephilims, and Roseanne Barr's so funny with her son Jake on their podcast. They come on, and then they play this. Their theme song is an old Elvis song, which is really funny. But I forget how that song goes. We'll play it at some point, or I'll just sing it. No, but she goes to all the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, the vampires, the Democrats, and especially to all the animals that draw nigh to the resounding, soothing sound of my voice. Right, which is like no, which is funny because she's making a joke about her own voice. As we know, Roseanne doesn't have a lullaby. I'm gonna lay your. Hey, can I lay your child down to rest? No, Roseanne, they'll be up all night.
She's not a delicate flower when she's.
That's part of her charm, right? So she says, and especially all the animals, because animals don't have to rely upon bullshit for their life, and there is truth to that, and that's why we all are better off petting a dog, or having a pet. As you know, here on the farm, Ron, with horses, when I see you, and the horses will come up to you, and you'll have something in your hand for them, a little treat, and just the way that you're like, if something has been in your crawl space, and you're hung up on something or just whatever, it's quick. I can just look on the side view, and I look over at you by the fence, and it's just, I see this, it's like you come like, hey, there's no wrong with the world. This is perfect. It's like this love dance between us and horses. And that's how animals are for us. They're good for us. I don't quite get that when I go to zoos, though. I mean, I want to, but they're way over there, and there's always, and then there's a stroller, and there's a baby, and there's crying, and I don't know. I do love zoos. Remember when we went to Washington? Ron, tell them about the Washington, D.C. zoo trip real quick.
What about it? It was the most
there weren't any animals, remember?
It was the most disappointing zoo trip that we had ever experienced. We've been to the Louisville Zoo, we had been to the Cincinnati Zoo, some zoo somewhere else. We haven't made it to the St. Louis or the San Diego zoos yet. But the whole big attraction they had, remember, wasn't it the koala bears?
See,
Wasn't it the
you
koala
remember
bears?
everything about stuff like
Yes,
that.
the whole big hoopla was, I think it was their koala bear exhibit. And there's this big, huge line to go back into this like little cul-de-sac little thing to actually see them. And all you saw was their habitat. There wasn't one single bear, period.
Pictures of what would have been.
And it's like every display or whatever, every habitat that we went to, I think out of the whole day we
We
saw
saw
maybe,
more zookeepers
we saw maybe
cleaning.
three animals.
And I thought, is this it? Because it said don't feed. So I was like, is that it? Excuse me, my microphone seems to kind of there's a happy place and it feels pretty tight. By the way, before we go on, Ron, aka Such, is coming off of sinus, whatever, and if you see him suddenly like and coughing, he's gonna probably hit his, if he can, he's gonna try to hit his mute button so we're not bombarded with, so you guys aren't bombarded with either one of us doing something that's too annoying, like coughing, throwing up, profuse vomiting,
There's none of that.
diarrhea.
Now you're just being
Is there a
snarky.
diarrhea button?
Now you're just being snarky.
But there is no button for Tourette syndrome, so you can't stop the motherfucker from me anyway. Ron's pretty clean. You know what they say about relationships? There's always that one, right? And then it takes two, and the best, because I'm the piano player. There used to be this thing about piano players in Hollywood, and it was a known thing that you could never trust a piano player because they're all like, loose and free and kind of shifty.
Isn't there a saying or a song or something about don't shoot the piano
Don't
player?
shoot me, I'm just a piano player, right? Well, that kind of goes in there.
Well,
Yeah.
that's don't shoot the messenger, but there's also, I think, a
Yeah,
don't
we've
shoot the
mashed
piano
them up.
player. Anyway,
Yeah. So again, welcome to Snarky and Such. We are a brand new podcast. We are, like I say, for all those that will join us, as you do so, as other people say, I always find it annoying whenever I'm watching something and somebody says, hit the like button and share and hit the bell and notifications and make sure to subscribe. And I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to do that. I'm just watching for a second, then I'm out of here. However, if you do, if you're surprised and you think this is pretty cool, well, the best way for us to keep on bringing it is to, and we also want you to comment. We've only done one show and it's doing pretty well. And you'll find it within the brand and we'll share them everywhere. But so far, there hasn't been one comment. I don't even care if it's a bad comment. Just please remember to start commenting. I mean, otherwise, a lot of people turn comments off. I mean, we're not really preaching to the choir, really. I mean, we're against type. We're gay. We're seniors, and we're Republicans, and so you should hate us for so many reasons. So, if we light a fire underneath you, don't be afraid to make a comment. And we can take it. We'll just delete it. No. Somehow something went away. Oh, something went away. That's how you're going to do it. You're going to block us from seeing you
yep.
when you
No, I don't
cough.
have to. Yeah,
Well,
and I mean,
we can handle seeing you anyway. Okay.
anyway,
Anyway. Okay. Well, what's cool. So Ron and I look, it's old school, right? I mean, I was gonna like actually make it digital and put it over here on the side of my computer.
you mean like this one?
Oh, you printed out the email. Don't give away
Yes.
the emails. Okay. All right. So somebody's gonna freeze frame that, and there's gonna be some information on there somehow.
Just as my email address and your email address.
There goes the
it.
farm. Okay.
Well, that's on the website, so there's no privacy there anyway. So
If you can afford it.
right.
Sure. So, anyways, we kind of run down. Ron and I we get up early. Do you remember I don't know if we've spoken about this before, but I have certainly expressed before that when I was a kid, I I spent a lot of time with my mom's parents. Um, my grandparents on that side. Really, the other ones were complete loser assholes. Well, they were drunks and they just, I don't, they're shifty and we won't go all into it, but families are family, right? There's always like, there's going to be. And, anyways, but the grandparents that could be trusted and were wholesome and good and well intending and everything, they had a lot of houses around the country, not to be braggadocious, but it wasn't my money, but evidently had a lot of money, or their parents had a lot of money and left it to them. And they had all these houses everywhere. And we would travel primarily between Michigan and Florida, and they would take the dust covers, that old thing of like, the grand movies in Hollywood where they go in and they take all the sheets off all them, it's the dust covers and everything. Well, it was like that. But where my point where I was going was they would get up at like 4:30, no matter what time I'd get up to say go to the bathroom as a little boy or something like that. They were already up. You could hear the old percolator coffee going in the kitchen, you know. And my grandma was already like crocheting something or painting a dish, or grandpa was already out like side with his overall things on, doing something on the property. 4:30 in the morning. I'd get up around 8:30 or 9 like a kid usually does. They wouldn't let me sleep in too long. But anyways, I remember our grandparents would get up early, and Ron and I, in our 60s now, um, I love getting up early now. I used to drink and drugs, so I usually was still up, whereas now I'm getting up fresh and clean, and I got lots of energy for the day. But I do enjoy the morning, and it's beautiful here.
Well, it's like, once again, like we've talked about in our last show, about how the cliches are like what we are discovering is actually the secrets that they try to keep from us. And the early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy,
Yeah.
wealthy, and wise. And it's
And the
like when
early bird catches the worm.
you're a kid and younger, it's like, oh, that's bullshit. Now it's like 9 o'clock used to be when we were just getting dressed and getting ready to maybe head out to clubs at 11 or midnight. And it's like now by 11 or midnight, we're fast asleep. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in LA, back in
we're
the
getting
eight.
up, yeah, and we're getting up at the time where it used to be you were coming in from a night of clubbing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where I was gonna go. So anyway, because I brought that up because I was thinking about like the way that we'll get up, and we have our pattern, and it's really great. It's beautiful. It's coffee tray, and everything how we like our coffees, and then we got of course big flat screen because they sell them at Walmart for $3.49 now. So every trailer park has one. They don't want you to miss their message of propaganda. So those are cheap anyway. So we have one of those. And
Yeah, that's what we saw everybody doing across country whenever they got their what was it called, the COVID stimulus check or
oh
whatever.
right,
That
right, right.
we'd stop at Walmart to get supplies, and every cart had a huge
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
on
Three
the back.
children kind of hanging off the
So it was supposed
corners
to be
as
money
they.
to help. It was supposed to be money to help buy groceries and pay for
Yeah,
utilities. They went out and bought a big screen TV with it.
yeah. And they
Anyway,
went. Yeah, no, and they went to Robin Hood brokerage, and they started buying memes, what they call meme stocks, which was like um, GameStop, and I think it was that theater chain. I forget the theater chain, anyways, and they made like it was really interesting what happened around COVID. Mostly a shit show, and then some of the things were interesting, and that is actually one of the things that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so right off the top of the thing, everybody knows about Jimmy Kimmel being like fired back like a month ago or whatever, and the big hoopla, and everybody going, it's Trump, he's canceling free speech, and it's the commandant coming down, and the soldiers are going to hit the streets, and nobody's allowed to speak anymore because there's a king, and so then we'll all come out and we'll do a no King's Day, and we'll lie about the crowds and everything. Well, Jimmy Kimmel's wife Just I guess they have a podcast, or yeah, they have a podcast too. It's like not enough to have the Tonight Show, or not the Tonight Show, but the equivalent late night talk show, one of the top 3 or 4. So as it turns out, she sent a while during the 2024 election run up, she sent a letter to all of her family members, like a 10-point PowerPoint presentation, urging and basically all but demanding and trying to coerce them into not voting for Trump, and not one of them responded to her. Also turns out she's the head writer for the Jimmy Kimmel show, which tells you everything that you need to know about the pussy whipped Jimmy Kimmel and who wears the pants in that family. Nothing. You got any thoughts on that? You thought I was frozen?
No, you didn't move. You didn't move at all.
Hey, if I stop talking, it's time to jump in.
You
thought you were watching a show there for a second. You didn't realize you were part of it.
No, but it just goes to show that she is so Trump deranged syndrome. And then during the segment that we saw, she did all the talking, and Jimmy Kimmel just sat there like a bump on a log, and it actually showed, that his waning ratings, in any show, whenever the ratings start to wane, usually the first thing they do is go to the writers. And, because there's the talent that's on screen, and then there's the writers that write everything that the talent says. And instead of them evidently going to the writers and, when the ratings are dropping, saying, you need to come up with better stuff, you need to get off all this Trump hate, da-da-da-da-da. That's all they did. They stayed on that stuff, and his ratings kept dropping. And then, of course, they used his one comment or whatever as the excuse to take him off the air. But the bottom line is they were losing millions of dollars on him every episode. So that's why they really took him off the air. And then a few people whined and complained, and they brought him back. He had good ratings for 1 or 2 shows, and now his ratings are back, in the armpit of television ratings and everything.
Armpit, interesting metaphor.
But really,
I think
it's like his wife, being the head writer, is the one destroying the show with her hate.
The country,
not just hatred of Trump. It's just, in her own words, she talked about how her whole day, every day.
That part.
Misery. It's nothing but misery, and she spews that over into the writing for a television show. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you. She said in her words that every day, all day, she's absolutely miserable and completely depressed every day now for years. Here you go. Here they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, and she's got a driver that picks her up at her mansion out in the burbs of New York, and it drives her, if you guys can imagine, like while she's in her bougie back leather and embossed with her coffee just so, and she gets driven into Manhattan, and then she's ducked into the back hallways, and she's the head writer, and then she gets to write whatever bullshit to try to coerce you all that up is down and down is up, and there's a Hitler in the Oval, and then she has the platform, the luxury of like having it telegraphed everywhere to convince everybody, and then it's rippled on the View, and then they take bits of each of their own shows and then show them on how proud they are of what was said over there, and it's like she has all of that. And yet her takeaway is, I'm just miserable all day long, every day. And it's like, kind of in a way, I'm like, well, good, bitch. I'm glad you're not at least happy and reveling over there. I'm glad that, I hate to be that way, but I am glad that they're just miserable sad sacks that just are always just so derangement syndrome. It is a disease. I mean, I don't know if RFK Jr. can find something for that disease, but we put it up to him. So go, Bobby, go. Yeah. Well, as it turns out, after we found out that Nancy Pelosi's failed second impeachment little tactic with January 6th that she drummed up and actually planned, that, as it turns out, I was right all along. Once again, I pat myself on the back always. I've never been wrong. DT has never been wrong, by the way. In 10 years, DT has never been wrong once. And I think that you are, when in the configuration, you're over there. I see you as above me in my configuration, but I can point over there. And my
No,
husband
that's
right there.
on your.
Is,
Well, I
is
don't know
that is
right
that
now.
you? Is that you
No,
up there?
I don't know. I changed my configuration where I'm a small box in the top right corner. However, it comes across. I think we come across side by side on the actual when it's
Yeah, I think
when
you're
it's.
over there. Anyway, that's my husband, and he can tell you, because the last time I was pointing up, I was going, that guy, that guy.
I'm
He can,
actually on me. For me, I'm up here.
you're flying through the room. He can tell you
I'm,
that
I'm right above, on my screen. I'm right above your book
oh,
on my screen.
then you'd be that way.
Up, up there.
Okay, my husband, this is so
Anyway,
stupid.
that's what
Because
I see. I
the
don't know
next
what you
show, it'll be the different. Okay. My husband can tell you that I've never been wrong. Not once. And that's braggadocious of me. In 32 years of marriage, almost 33, you know, I'm prone to exaggeration in general. So that's not even exaggeration. Never been wrong once. And I told everybody about January 6th. And I told you that Trump never encouraged or inspired to try to rile the crowd to run over there and start breaking windows and shooting people. Oh my God, I got to get into this. If we don't get to all of our points, who cares? Or we can click on the next frame and then
for the next,
I'll piece it together. So just bear with me here for a second. Bear with me. So as it turns out, the BBC took his speech at the ellipse, the Trump speech, and they cut it. They cut 54 minutes out and they jumped to when he says, and get in there and fight, 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 and we'll fight them to the death type thing. Well, he never, those are 54 minutes apart. Anyways, they had packaged that up and then sent that around the world, the BBC. So he is suing them for $1 billion. Now, to correct the record first.
It's they to correct you, not to correct you, but to correct you. What they said was he will
You can
sue
correct
for
me, I don't
$1
care.
billion unless they do a retraction and then also award him damages. If they don't do that,
Well, $1
then
billion worth of damages.
he'll
And
sue for $1 billion.
sure they will, and he'll get it, and it will go to the American people by way of a one of those stimulus checks. So he's already talking about 2,000 per. He's already brought in $21 trillion that tariffs have produced in the counter effort, the deal making that is his expertise. Left hates it
Well,
here.
and
Yeah.
along that line, that once again, how the media lies and misconstrues and misrepresents, even on the program that we watched where they were talking about the BBC and the edited video that made it sound like Trump was doing the insurrection, that he would sue for 1 billion, which is the highest of any of his lawsuits. And the person
Right.
that was presenting it on television, all of his other lawsuits against the media, the different corporations that had
ABC,
also
NBC, MSNBC,
misrepresented, he sued in the millions of dollars,
not
but the
billions.
reporter
Right.
on television was saying that he had already sued for billions of
Right.
dollars.
Yeah, they got that wrong. Yeah, we don't want the message to be blurred out. For any of you that are watch a little show from this Australian chick called Lefty's Losing It, it's a must recommend. She is hilarious. She's great. We've been watching her for a long time. Lefty's Losing It, and she puts together the day's compilation. I'm doing like a Cockney chimney sweep from thing. I can't. Australian accents are hardest. Speaking of accents, I'm going to do
think you're
something later.
watching Tracy Ullman. She sounds and looks like Tracy Ullman.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Okay, so that's what Trump's doing, and that's great. Oh, by the way, the heads of the BBC used to be the heads of MSNBC in the United States. Yep, sure were. And by the way, they all just stepped down. So
They
that
resigned.
lawsuit,
Yeah, they resigned before being
they
fired.
resigned. That's stepping down. Okay, just real quick, and probably let this point go, but more of the ICE stuff that's going on. By the way, you guys, ICE federal officers, okay, I don't care if you're Obama in the White House or Trump. The legislation that is law that was passed by Congress, both houses, okay, that's what they're enforcing. They're not going in and just rounding up people willy-nilly and taking children and just taking anybody with brown skin. Most of them do have brown skin because they came over our southern border, and most of the people under the southern border have brown skin, and from other countries that then were flown to our southern border and then bussed over during the 4 years of Biden. 21 million people plus came over the southern border, and most of them are not Americans, so they don't have white. And they didn't come from the UK, and they didn't come from primarily white. They didn't come from Norway and Sweden, and they came from Iran and Afghanistan and Shirakistan and just name it, Uganda and Venezuela and Argentina and Mexico and so on and so forth. They have brown skin. Okay, so that's, I mean, what? When people are like, you're just looking for the skin and you're disappearing people, it's like, no, they're actually federal officers. So this thing is about the Chicago moms got together, a little group called Chicago Moms. And they all got together in like a prayer circle and set their fat asses down on the middle of this road in a zone that had already been demarcated as off limits or whatever for ICE to do its job. So
it said there was a designated protest area, and they came outside of the designated protest area and did their sit-in or their sit-down.
There you go. Much better said. That's why we're together. So that's kind of like a who cares? Just fucking fat moms, And somebody did say if they'd only thrown like a white wine festival across town, like a box wine thing, that Chablis, none of the moms would have shown up.
Chablis tasting.
By the way, when you see these women, they're not moms. One of them looked like she was like a reject in a casting call for Night of the Living Dead, and she was probably, God, I gotta say 6'8". I mean, and she had lumberjack clothing on and a little bit of blue streak on the bottom ends of her hair. And I'm thinking, not really an arching mom, so, moms. Ooh, moms. Yeah, right. Sure. Like these people have had children.
And chances are, if you did facial recognitions on them, that they would also show up in other protests in other parts of the country, which brings it into, they are probably paid protesters and paid for by George Soros, that pays for all the protesters across the country,
right,
across the world, more than likely.
Right. Oh yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. So as to Trump's big beautiful ballroom, so just a couple of things is laid out. So these are the facts. So everything that's been said, it used to be that they had to pitch a tent, huge tent. Dignitaries from all over the world had to actually leave the tent and go into probably a very glamorized. They have some pretty great porta-johns these days that they have for high VIP. We've been in a couple when we've been on tour and we've been around, traveling. What? This is a bathroom outside? But nonetheless, the dignitaries would have to go into a porta-john. So Trump's a builder. So the whole thing is Barack Obama charged the American taxpayer $340 million for a basketball court and some pipes and some other things that he dug up and did around the White House. Trump isn't charging the taxpayer $1, and they're all bitching. They're going to bitch about everything and anything that they can, regardless, because they're process people. They don't build anything. They just are destructive and tear it down and mock people, and then go after people that actually have an original thought and idea and bring something to bear, because they don't have shit. So they can't stand that Trump has like actually been doing stuff and, all around the world, ending 8 wars and just everything, closing the border, blowing up drug cartels. I mean, meanwhile, we had auto pen Biden with a shitty diaper going, huh? Which way? Huh? Which way? So yeah, it's a whole different day. So we're talking about the big beautiful ballroom. Hey, and then I'm gonna let you go on it because you might have some thoughts. Um, so this BBC lawsuit, should it come to money, it's going to just be added on to, as it turns out, if they need any more, because Trump's gotten over $300 million from donors for the ballroom, and it's going to be great. And but he's also just not doing that. He's doing out from, is it in front of the Lincoln Memorial? He's doing like a scale to scale replica of the Arc de Triomphe, and you made a funny. You said it's going to be, which it's right in there. It just is. It's a
The Arc de Trump.
Arc de Trump. I mean, it's right in there, and you know that it's going to just completely just be one more thing for the Democrats to lose their shit over. And you know he's going to call it the Arch to Trump. You know he's going to.
What is he doing that for?
It's like Christmas.
I forgot. What is he doing that for?
I don't know exactly. I think aesthetically to leave one more. I think he looked out from the White House. Ron, can you see the Lincoln Memorial from I forget. I've been there, but I forget what.
No, the Lincoln Memorial lines up. Whenever you're at the Lincoln Memorial, you see the Washington Monument, and then on the far side, you see the Capitol.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing that lines up. And then when you're at the White House on the whatever side it is, the one that has the rounded balcony that overlooks the ellipse, from there you see the Washington Monument and the Jefferson Memorial.
Okay. So I don't really have an answer for why he's doing. I mean, it's obviously not necessitated like the ballroom is. The ballroom, by the way, other Democrats have said in their
here it is.
Go ahead.
It's going to be called the Independence Arch near the Arlington.
So just
Memorial
one more.
Bridge. Yeah, it's designed to look like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris.
Called Arch to Trump.
It's going to be. He's naming it the Independence Arch, and it is to commemorate our 250th anniversary of American independence. And it's been colloquial been dubbed the Arc de Trump.
Oh, but it's not going to get done by 4th of July 2026, which is the big 250 year. There's no way. I mean, maybe we'll look into that. We'll come back with some stuff on that because that's pretty important. I know Trump. I heard at first that the ballroom alone isn't going to be like till 2029, and then I just heard him yesterday say 2020. Well, that would just no. He said 2027. They said 2029.
He will have it finished before he's out of office.
Yeah, he'll have it under budget, and he'll have it before. Yeah, just like the Wool Rink, ice skating rink, the Mill Central Park, and his classic stuff that he always brings shit in because he is the GOAT. So JFK. Oh, we were talking about JFK. So Trump gave JFK. He'll bring all his cabinet into the Oval Office from time to time to kind of. Well, in perfect fashion, Trump isn't a shrinker. He's not apologizing this term, so he's bringing, and he learned a lot from the first. And then on the first episode that we did, you gloriously, succinctly drew out exactly that he didn't squander his stolen election from 2020, those years. He didn't lick his wounds. He went to work. He was busy calculating. He was coming up with a plan. I mean, for every which way. And a long part of that plan was, should I win? Not, probably in Trump's world, not should, but when I win, I know exactly who I'm going to get for this. And the first term, if you'll recall, it was a revolving door in the White House, and the left loved to mock him. Oh, look, everybody's jumping ship all the time. He can't keep good people. Ugh. Well, this time that one person has been exchanged or quit or left or wants to, and they're all just knocking it out of the park for him because they're all, together. They have the same intention, the good and the strength for
They
restoring.
have the same vision.
Yeah. So unfortunately, though, and I have to say this because I am snarky. No. So you got JFK Jr. in there. And JFK,
RFK.
I mean, not JFK. That'd be weird. That'd be like resurrecting the dead, right? RFK, I'm so sorry. I actually wrote down, no, I wrote down RFK. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, brain farts. It's okay. I don't call them blonde moments or senior moments. I call them slenior moments. No, is it slond or bleenier? It's one of the two. I can't even remember my own things. That's another part of having senior and blonde moments. Anyways, believe it or not, I don't.
A snarky person would say.
Yeah, RFK Jr. So he goes, Bobby, if you want to come up and say a couple things. I'm like, oh shit, no, please, no. We almost got out of here unscathed, and it got about autism and our Tylenol. And I'm like, oh no. You know what? I love his intent, but he has a thing, and I wrote it down for those of you that don't know to ever didn't want to ask. RFK has something called spasmodic dysphonia coupled with focal dystonia, which is like ticks up from the upper. People probably think I have it, motherfucker. God damn it. But anyways, he has, and it started in 1994, and it's an actual condition, and it's a nervous disorder, and it's crippled his ability to fluidly speak. What he's trying to, and you're like, what? And I was like, I told you, I said, it just reminds me of Katharine Hepburn on Golden Pond, and if you just do a Katharine Hepburn like this, and you Old Town Road and all of that. And I'm like, if he could just smooth out some, at least I could handle listening to Katharine Hepburn in a man's body, doing a lot of push-ups and pull-ups. Anyways, that's my little thing. It was a little aside. I had to kind of like get it in there.
But the thing is that we
to show you
found
that I
out
can mock our own,
when we searched his condition, that it is treatable with a drug, but he doesn't believe in the drug.
Well, it's a vaccination of botulism. They say they say, yeah. Okay. Michelle Obama has her own podcast too. Now, you see what I did there? Well, why I say he is because there is a great theory out there, conspiracy theory, that Michelle Obama is a man. And that Joan Rivers, when asked once on the sidewalk in New York, going up into her beautiful penthouse there, was asked, she said, oh, come on, everybody. No, the question from to her was, do you think that we'll ever have a gay president? She goes, oh, come on, we already do. And he said, excuse me, what did you just say? She goes, oh, and Michelle is a tranny. And he goes, what? And she goes, oh, come on, everybody knows. Yes, it's no big deal. Everybody knows it. Well, then, like, it was roughly within 2 weeks, she was having some filler done on her face, and she never did wake up. And that's a standard thing, and that shouldn't be lethal. And then another conspiracy, they took her out, like Hillary Clinton style. And then there was Michelle dancing on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and some people say that they see a cock flopping under the loose pants, because Michelle Obama always wore these really ugly, big fucking like skirt. What do you call them, Ron? The skirts?
A-line skirts.
A-line skirts. Yeah. Oh, hence the shape, like a big A. Okay. Right. It's just now making sense to me. Anyways, so Michelle on her podcast, it's her and her brother, and they do nothing, she does nothing but bitch about how horrible It was, and how much that they bothered her, and what an interruption and inconvenience and a hardship it was to be first lady and to be in that White House. And she bitches not only about that, but of course, all of her life, even right now, like endlessly talks about, oh God, and then they had to do my makeup, and it's like, and then this, and then they'd expect me to. It's like, wow, Melania Trump and Donald Trump, they do nothing but tell you about what an honor it is, and responsibility that they take seriously. But they don't sit there and like a little spoiled brat, you know, bitch, whine, and complain about, oh, I was the first black lady to become first lady of the United States. It's like Meghan and Harry. Meghan's always complaining about, oh, royalty, and we don't like it, so I'm going to take him to America, and we're going to defect. And what is it with these left people? I mean, do they really think that we're just feeling sorry for them? I don't get that. So Michelle Obama, I guess it's pretty much, it doesn't need to be added on to. I can see your face. Okay, just an aside. Jasmine Crockett, she's so ghetto, but at the beginning, she never did that ghetto talk, that smack talk, that black girl. Oh, I cut you, I cut a bitch, like Maxine Waters and everything. So there's this senator running in Texas. It's a white woman, and she goes on the Congress floor yesterday or a couple days ago, and she bows down and she kisses Jasmine Crockett's feet, right? I mean, this loathsome bitch that like constantly is she talk about wanting to be an AOC star. AOC is the same way. She just like, if you ever listen to AOC, she absolutely is like, she used to be a bartender, you know, and now she's a congresswoman. Like what happened to the hiring process, or I guess there isn't, it's, you get elected. So nobody's running against these people in these jurisdictions. So I just wanted to mention that as a white woman.
They want to say no kings, no kings. And in ancient times, what did they do? They would bow down and kiss a king's feet.
Yeah.
That they used to, or is she trying to say Jasmine Crockett is Jesus? How they washed and kissed Jesus's feet. But they
Yeah,
want
I
to say
think
no
that
king, no king, but you want to bow down and kiss someone's foot. Well, I
yeah.
tell you what, you can bend over and kiss my ass.
Hey, come on with it. So
Yeah.
that leads me to other things that are on the left. Well, first of all, there is no racism actually out here. When I have said this to when I said it to black people, they always nod in agreement everywhere that we travel on the road. Whenever it comes, I don't just go up to black people and go, hey, there's no racism. I'm just talking about when and if it ever came up in a cocktail conversation, or behind the scenes at an event, or, in between breaks and stuff like that. When certain things come up about politics, I talk about what is all this stuff about BLM and Antifa and rioting, and talking about Nazis, and this is where I really want to go with it. Reparations. Reparations, Ron. Such, aka Such.
Don't even get me started on it. It's asinine and it's
What?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like for certain black people, and didn't it start out in California, where there
I
was
think it all does.
never even slavery in California, but slavery was something that had been around for centuries, and it's the United States was the first to put an end to it. And for people in America, people of color, for black people, to think that they're owed reparations by the country or by, the descendants of people that own slaves, it's like, you're not owed anything. If it wasn't for, putting it in context, if it wasn't for your ancestors basically being brought here and sold, and you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be alive, because if they'd been left in Africa, or if they'd have been left in the islands where they were native to, their whole descendant line would not exist. So therefore, you wouldn't be alive if they had not been brought here, and for that, what's the word I'm looking for? For their lineage to be what it is.
Right.
You know,
So yeah, because
that somebody owes you money for something that, first of all, didn't happen to you. It didn't happen to your parents.
Right.
And I think at this point, not even grandparents are still alive.
Right. Be great grandparents. Right.
Yeah. So what makes you think that you're owed money for something that happened to your ancestors by somebody else's ancestors?
Yeah. And dragging the race card
all the way back then, Jewish people are owed reparations.
How about
by
gay
the
people?
Romans.
How about us? How about all the bullying that we endured? I'm due reparations from all of the people that ever tried to kill us, or not kill, but end us if they could. And anyways, so yeah, so when I walk into it,
Irish blood in you, what about all the Irish slaves?
There were white slaves as well, right?
Yeah, the Irish, the Irish slaves,
white Irish,
that were brought to America and were slaves. What about them? Aren't you owed reparations because you're part Irish? It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. And the whole thing is to set up the optics that because somebody once said, I'll misquote if I say who, that the only way to destroy the United States is from within. If the United States ever folds or ever falls, it'll be the destruction from within. And indeed, that is the ultimate of mastery from the deep state. Left primarily now. There are some rhinos on the right, but over in Europe, how
to deconstruct a democracy.
Yeah, the 12 Steps by Naomi Wolf. The 12 Steps to deconstructing a democracy. Although I don't agree with most of her politics now, that was like my 101 when I first started like putting stuff together. But it's a pretty good read. You guys check out Naomi Wolf. Speaking of pretty good reads, before we get out of time, see if I put this up here. This is my latest book. You'll see it's called Manifestation, How Thoughts Become Things. Kind of hard to make out the how thoughts become things because I got those words kind of beaming like lasers out of the head, right? Because that's how. Because that's how
my screen it shows up.
Yeah, because that's how our mind works. A lot of us don't understand that the thoughts that we think are creating tomorrow's content. And anyways, but you'll see the name doesn't seem to jive. It's by Equin Cadman. That's me. That's my nom de plume. That's my pen name. There's a backstory to that. But that's the book. You can see it there. It's always going to kind of be sitting there.
And there's a website that will be shown in the opening credits and the end credits.
Yeah, look at the website down here. Equin Music LLC for all things. We got music on there. We got albums around the world. Got another first book that I wrote, but this is the second one, and I'm inspired. I'm threatening to write my third one here as soon as we're going into the winter months. It's no better time to get some hot cocoa and coffee and sit down here and just start typing. I kind of love it, but we have Snarky and such too. So we'll see. We'll let this one ride for a little bit. You guys check out that. Go where all books are sold, but go to our website, which I'm putting down there for you guys to look at all things. And also, if you want a one-on-one with me, there's a link for that too. You can fill in your information there, type, and you and I will be like this, and you can ask me things. I've got God gave me some gifts besides singing and playing piano and writing songs and producing and writing books. Also gave me something else. I don't know quite how to put it into words, but it's pretty magical and it unleashes itself in the moment. And I can get the best version and activated in you possible. And we've had some people that our subscribers already that can attest to that. Maybe they'll put some of their comments down in the comment about things that we've already shared, consultations that we've already had. Some of them are repeats. Some of them come back. We did great things. This was a couple of years ago, so we're just starting back again. So we look forward to that. And if it becomes overwhelming and stuff like that, I'll let you guys know on an episode that I'm sorry about. I can't get to all of you right now, but we'll have that. And maybe perhaps in time, we'll have like some freebies and we'll do stuff and we'll, but we'll just see then. So I just want to make this announcement. We did reparation. We did that. Okay, and I just did the book thing and all that. So we just got one more talking point real quick. The government shutdown is over. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history. It went 41 days. And primarily the nutshell that you need to know about why it happened, because as I said on the first episode, Chuck Schumer is 441 years old and wants to continue on Nebuchadnezzar style, like with Nancy Pelosi, the turtle, not the goat. He wants to continue on. He's afraid that AOC was going to give him too much of a run for his money in election, so he held hostage the American people and the programs and all the federal money for employees, including air traffic controllers and the military and the SNAP programs and everything else. Trump ended up commandeering it and utilizing it to actually do more Doge cleanup and shrink the government employee roster, which they never saw coming. And so eventually they got wind of this. I could have told them early on, Trump's way ahead of you on here. He's not mad about the shutdown. He's going to use it. They have such derangement syndrome. They trip on their own shit. They can't even, they're their own worst enemy. Just sitting there watching them crumble when they're so smugly certain that they've got this is always so funny. Never more demonstrated than the fat cows on The View. That Whoopi Goldberg, just real quick. How the hell are three women named Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy the opposite of any of what those words and names were supposed to ever convey?
Just the fact that all they do is spew hatred and venom. They should not be on the air. They should be canceled. They should be cancel cultured out. Anybody who is in a public position should not be allowed to. Everybody has the right to their opinion, but they should not be allowed to be on air being paid to spew hatred and venom, trying to rile people. That's an abuse of freedom of speech.
Right. I mean, here they manufactured that exact thing was what Trump, they allege, was trying to do. They called it an insurrection and then tried to use that as grounds for legal recourse against him, including 700 years in prison. And yet they do it on a daily basis, intentionally riling the American people to division and every other sort of bullshit.
And what the left keeps misrepresenting about democracy, Trump is killing democracy, he's the end of democracy. What people forget, the United States of America was set up to be a republic.
Yeah.
And you and I,
there's no crying in baseball. Yeah.
We actually Google searched what is the difference between a democracy and a republic. The United States was set up by our founders to be a republic. The difference is, if I remember correctly, a republic is where the group of lawmakers make laws and everyone has to follow those laws. A democracy is set up to be majority rules. We're not majority rules.
We're not.
The laws are set up, though, kind of based on democracy, where when people go vote for their representatives to make the laws that everyone has to follow.
Right.
We're set up to be a republic. We follow the laws that have been written. It's not up to the individual to change laws, to say, oh, well, I don't agree with that, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. He's not my president.
He was elected by the majority of people. Well, he's not my president. And it's not up to the individual.
Snap.
It's not up to the individual to change language.
Right.
That the pronouns, this is a whole nother talking point on another show as far as pronouns, so I'll save it for that.
No, but that's all true.
That will be a definite point on probably our next podcast. Is
So
the misabuse and misappropriation of pronouns.
Oh my God, safe place. But people, and this is another thing about being gay. I should end the show every show that we do. I should end with a little insight about gay. So here it goes. I don't give a shit what you think of me, like at all. Like, by the way, somebody said to me, well, if a fat woman enters a room, I was gonna say bitch. If a fat, because I'm condescending. I don't really mean it. It's really fun. But if a fat woman enters a room and she has bright blue hair, and she steals a lady's bag off the table and she goes running, and that lady was in the bathroom, she comes back in, she goes, "Oh my God, where's my purse? Somebody took it." You don't go, "Well, there was a it was a girl, and well, what she look like? Well, she had a little. It's like she was a fat bitch with blue hair." Okay, there's not many out there. She's still running. You can go find her. So people will whenever people come to me and they do the gay, they go, "Oh well, but we just want you to know that we have gay friends, and we're totally into gay." It's like, oh, hold on, bitch. Okay, wait. When I was 18, I was gay like about 24 hours a day, just with my right hand in my mind. Okay, when I was like 35 or so, I was gay like maybe 3 times a day. I know, but I just married Ron, so. So maybe a couple hours a day I was gay. Now, not to give you too much insight, but I'm down to about being gay about twice a week for about 5 minutes. Okay. So am I gay, or am I actually a vacuumer? Because I vacuum more every week and dust the house, or I'm on the roof, or I'm out planting a garden, or I'm raking leaves. Am I a raker? Because I'm doing that far longer, or a leaf blower. I'm probably right now, because it's fall, I'm not gay. I'm a leaf blower. That's who well, there's still the word blow in there. So that helps. And that's how I would like to end the show. DT the leaf blower, and AKA up there, such. And we love you, and over and out. Woohoo!
Till next time.
Till next time.
With these words of admission, there'll be no submission. I've done the addition, and it's not adding up. You can keep all your conditions. We're not asking permission. It's our act of sedition, and we're not giving up or giving in.